pleasant good morning to everyone present here. Myself, Muskan Rathi, student coordinator from BCom program, on behalf of Department of Commerce, humbly welcomes our respected Principal Ma'am, Professor Mamta Sharma Ma'am, Teacher in charge, Dr. Rajiv Kaur Ma'am, all the faculty members, students, and our honorable resource person for the day, Mr. Anil Kumar Sir, faculty at Time Education. I welcome you all to a very insightful and knowledgeable session on how to crack case study, problem solving, and decision making. Now, I would request Principal Ma'am to say few words.
Thank you, Muskan. It's indeed our pleasure to host Mr. Anil from Science Education, and the topic on which he is going to speak today is how to crack the case study, problem solving, and decision making. This topic is connected to all kinds of research works which the faculty take up, and of course, now that we are having an undergraduate research cell in the college, this would be useful for all our teachers, students alike. So I'm really looking forward to attend this session. However, I have a meeting scheduled, so I would like to request Mr. Anil to please share the recording of the session so that he can be benefited at the later stage. I would like to thank the Department of Commerce headed by Dr. Rajiv Kaur and other faculty members for having such a nice topic for the students, and this would, I think, lead a long way and would really inspire our students to get into research. With these words, I hand you over to Muskan.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring words. Now, I request Sir to please proceed with the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you all of you, and good morning, everyone. Just a minute. Just give me 30-40 seconds. Let me just share my screen here first. Is my screen shared with you guys? You say yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Perfectly. Let's say I'm very new to this part of platform. So let's say in case something goes wrong in between, please do tell me that thing, right? I'll try and work on that particular thing then.
Sure.
Okay. As today's agenda is this case study here. So what I'll do first here, let's say initially I'll tell you, let's say what is actually a case study and how is this different from, let's say, group discussion that we normally conduct here. And later on, let's say after talking about the basic of and do's and don't of this particular thing, I'll take a basic case study as well here. That would not be very long case study, rather it would be a 6-7 line case study only. They will expect you to contribute your answers as well, right? I'll give you some 5-7-10 minute time, and there we'll see, let's say, what all you are contributing, and then we'll also discuss, let's say, based on the points raised by you guys, let's say what are the very good thing that you guys did, what are the things, let's say, we missed, and let's say we could have added those things there. So let's start with our proceedings then here. हम लोगों ने पहले कोई केस स्टडी किया हुआ है क्या कॉलेज में, और लेट्स से एनीवेयर बिफोर, लेट्स से डू वी हैव एनी रफ आइडिया अबाउट हाउ केस स्टडी इज डन? एनीवन प्लीज, या तो यस नो बोल सकते हैं, अदरवाइज यू प्लीज आंसर इन चैट बॉक्स आल्सो, राइट? यस नो समथिंग लाइक दिस, कुछ तो बोल सकते हैं यहाँ पे. Any idea, let's say, we guys have how these case studies are done? Or let's say this is the first time, let's say, we are having these kind of interaction.
Yes, sir.
जैसे आपने बोला है perfectly. So initially, let's 5-7 minute. What I'll do is I'll try and tell you, let's say, what is GD here. Just 5-7 quickly. Let's say I'll try and cover that thing, and then I'll also cover how is case study very different from GD then. Right? Because when we go for, let's say, group discussion here, let's say I have taken this thing in slide and I'll not be, let's say, investing much time in it. When we talk about group discussion, there our focus is what? On discussing the topic. We can discuss the topic, let's say, in favor of that thing or in against that particular thing. We do not restrict ourselves with one opinion only, right? Because If topic is tough, in that case we may find ourselves in a bit problem then. Because let's say if I give you an example of that particular thing, अगर topic tough होता है और if you take some opinion in the beginning, then how we can sometime land ourselves in a problem. जैसे आप लोग अभी जैसे आपने बताया ना कॉमर्स स्टूडेंट हैं आप लोग, आई एम अहमदाबाद या आई एम कोलकाता में एक बार कुछ इस तरह से टॉपिक आया था. Topic was like, should India adopt a capital paradigm of capital account convertibility? Right? We have in our country, let's say, current account convertibility concept, but capital account convertibility concept we do not have out here. But if topic comes like this, should India adopt a paradigm of capital account convertibility? And in that case, let's say if you are not that much well read about that particular topic, and we take some opinion in the beginning only, then very high chances are there after some time you will not have much thing to speak out there. So that's why when we talk about group discussion, we try and discuss about that particular topic rather than taking some opinion in the beginning and restricting ourselves with that side of the view only. And if topic is easy, then chances are that we may not face any problem there. So when we talk about GD is just about discussing the topic. And when we are discussing the topic, then knowledge becomes supreme out here. How good and well led we are about that particular topic. If you have decent enough knowledge about that particular thing, you can clearly distinguish yourself from others, right? And obviously with knowledge, you can establish yourself as a leader out there as well. And in GD specifically, when we go, the parameter on which our performance is checked are these parameters here, right? Content, communication, group behavior, and leadership. Specifically, if I talk about GD here, and then when we talk about communication part here, right? Sometimes we might think, let's say, being extremely good and fluent in English may help us out there. So that though that is not wrong, but this is not the most important criteria for the group discussion here. The most important criteria for GD becomes content. Let's say if you are able to deliver the content out there, even in a broken English, right, that is considered good. And 80% weightage of entire GD goes roughly close to आई थिंक आप में से किसी ने ना अपना बस जस्ट ए मिनट
Manoj sir, your mic is on.
प्लीज ना अगर हाँ इफ यू डू नॉट वांट टू सी प्लीज कीप योरसेल्फ म्यूटेड देन Manoj, please mute yourself. In case, let's say you want to speak something, then unmute and speak. Otherwise, keep yourself muted. मनोज अपने आप को म्यूट कर लो भाई. No, this is good. See, so what I was telling here, let's say if I when I was talking about the GD, what I said, let's say in this case we focus more on discussing the topic, right, rather than taking any opinion in the beginning, whether either you say in a favor of against that thing, because in that case that would no longer remain a GD, rather become a kind of a debate then. And the important criteria on which our knowledge is checked are these four criteria we have: content, communication, leadership, and group behavior. Now, when we say communication, right, sometimes, as I was saying before, sometimes we might think, let's say, being very fluent in, let's say, that language in which you are speaking out there may constitute your communication, but that is not the right way of defining communication. In communication, what we mean that you should be able to put across your thought in an intended manner. Whatever you want to say, if that is getting communicated in an intended manner, everything is considered good. And then group behavior and leadership, they also play a very important role. Group behavior, when we say, it's like what, let's say, when you are speaking, then you expect other guys to listen to you. In a similar manner, when other guys are speaking, they also expect that you should listen to them. It should not be kind of laid back attitude where when you are contributing, just a minute. Just a minute. यहाँ बात नहीं करो सर. So sorry, this is, I'm in office, that's why there was some problem out there. So here, when we say, let's say, when you are speaking, if you expect people to, let's say, listen to you, that same thing happens from other guys as well, right? When other guys are speaking, they expect that you should listen to them as well. Secondly, sometimes let's say if some person, let's say, contradict your points, it should not like this. Let's say you become somewhat angry, and that start becoming, let's say, or that start reflecting in your behavior, where you become somewhat rude, you increase your voice level a bit. These things goes against the person. So where the GD is concerned, if you are in a GD, then right. And obviously with knowledge, let's say if you are giving a dimension or direction, good foundation to a group, then you establish yourself as a leader. But let's say after saying all these things, these three parameters that we talked about here, right? Communication, leadership, and all these things, though these things are very important, but still they carry a weightage of roughly just 20 to 30% in entire GD. The maximum weightage goes to your content part only. Content, when I say, this is the knowledge, right? About that particular topic. Let's say if you are well read about that particular topic, you would do extremely good. And if you are not that much well read, but we are very good with, let's say, leadership skills, group behavior, communication, in that case, we'll find it very difficult to clear it then. So this is how GD normally is done, right? And when we talk about GD, so as we discuss here, this is the knowledge part is the most important part here. So when we talk about GD, we call it knowledge-based process here, right? If you are good with the knowledge of that particular thing, chances are there you'll come up with a very good point out here. You'll define them, or let's say, given relative, or let's say whatever example with that you can justify whatever you are saying. You'll try and come up with that particular thing, and you can make a decent enough contribution there. But when we talk about, let's say, case study here, then things become different here. Let's say case study is not something which is a knowledge based, right? If I now come to case study part here, because till now what we guys said here, what is GD? In GD we said knowledge becomes supreme, because if you are well read about that topic, then only you'll be able to do it. Let's say some example or topic, let's say if I say, sometime what happens, topic may be extremely knowledge based, but sometimes that becomes process based as well. Now process based GD, when we say, let's say sometime abstract topic may come. Let's say in sometimes in IIMs, or let's say in other institute, they may ask you to speak on zero. Let's say if I ask you to speak on zero, then this would no longer be a knowledge based topic, because regarding zero, if you talk about the facts and figure, then it would not take even more than 2 minutes to complete all those things. But then question comes, how you can correlate this thing with other things out here. Like if I talk about zero here, then mathematical implication, if we start talking about, we can talk them in, let's say, 1, 2, or 3 minutes only. But after that, we'll say in what manner we can correlate these things to other things. Like zero, you can say, is something which has no ending or no starting here, right? Then you can talk about something which has neither starting point nor ending point. Or you can say zero is complete round. So that is, that has no, let's say, what we can say, let's say, you can say that is a perfect in itself, right? It does not have any anomaly here. You can relate with the perfection out here. So these way we expect you to correlate with a number of different things, and then try and come up with the, let's say, some conclusion toward the end. So the moment we move on to the abstract topic, right, this no longer remain a topic based on knowledge, rather this becomes a process based GD then. So here what becomes more important is in what manner you are discussing on that particular topic that is given to you. Let's say it may be zero, it may be red versus blue, it may be only red, right? Or anything. Let's say sometime we may take some proverb and ask you to have discussion on that particular thing. So when we talk about the process-based GD, process-based GD and case studies more or less are similar here, right? Process-based GD and case studies, but there's a minor difference we have here. Similarity we have in what context, if you see, because when we go over the process-based GD, there we do not have any predefined, let's say, subject knowledge that we can cover out there. We see in what manner you are discussing, what all different things related to that thing you are bringing into discussion out here. Same thing happens with the case study as well. In case study also will not give you enough information out there, right? Because let's say if I give you a real life problem of a certain company, right? Because if you go with a real life problem, then they'll give you n number of pages, right? Document where pages you'll have roughly around 500, 600, 700 pages like this. But those kind of things when will come to you, right, you cannot do those discussion in 5 or 10 minutes. So what normally guys do, they concise that thing, right, in 1 page or 1.5 page. But most of the time that is, let's say, half page only here, right? So they'll give you some information there. Not all information would be presented to you, some information would be given to you. Based on that information, they would expect you to come up with some solution out there. Now, when very little information is given to you, very little information, then chances are there with that you cannot clearly pinpoint the problem company is facing there, right? So in that case, you may come with the multiple assumptions as well or multiple problems as well. So very first thing that we guys do when it comes to case study here, we try and find out what is the exact problem company is facing, or let's say whatever problem you have, what is the exact problem we have out there. And when we say problem, यहाँ पे ना एक चीज बहुत ध्यान से रखना, प्रॉब्लम एंड सिम्टम्स आर डिफरेंट थिंग्स हियर. Sometimes something may be visible to you that may not be the real problem, right? That may be the symptom of that particular problem. जैसे अगर मैं एग्जांपल के लिए अगर आपको बताता हूँ, let's say if we take some company, let's say ice cream company, let's say in certain region, and if it is given the sales of that ice cream company is decreasing, तो जो ये दिख रहा है सेल्स उसकी डिक्रीज हो रही है, तो दिस इज नॉट द एक्चुअल प्रॉब्लम हियर, राइट? दिस इज द सिम्टम ऑफ दैट प्रॉब्लम व्हिच हैज लेड टू दिस particular thing here. So what we expect, you do some brainstorming using the data provided out there and try and find out what could be the possible reason for the decrease in sales in ice cream of that particular company. अब इस चीज में जब आप डिस्कस करना स्टार्ट करोगे या थोड़ा सा डीप जाओगे, what you'll observe, not much information would be given to you, then you would be allowed to take or make fair good enough assumptions as well, right? You might think or say, let's say people in this locality, let's say initially were lot about the young population, what not now, not we do not have that much young population, or they have migrated to some other places, right? That's why population has come down, that's why sales has come down. Means if you are making some assumptions out here, then you can make these assumptions, provided these assumptions are not going against the information given in our that particular information, right? और जो भी आपको छोटा सा केस दिया होता है उसके अगेंस्ट नहीं जाना चाहिए. So here when we see some problem here, right, or some cases given to you, the first thing that we do, we try and find out the possible problems out there, right? And we call it identification of problem. And if in case data given is such where we are not able to find out pinpointedly what exactly is the problem they are facing, so we can come up with the multiple cause, right? We may think this may be the problem, this may be the problem, this may be the problem, because in case study you'll not be the lone person out there doing that one. Multiple people they may have multiple perspective then. So one person may come up with something, let's say the person may think XYZ is the problem, other person may agree out there or may say this may be the problem. But whatever you are saying, that has to be in sync with the information given in that particular case study to us, right? The first thing that we guys do is we try and find out what we think could be the possible root cause of the problem, right? That is creating that particular problem that we are observing and seeing there. एक बार जब आपका आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है, इस चीज को मैं भी ना एक केस के साथ भी आपके डिस्कस करूंगा ना, देन थिंग्स आई थिंक वुड बिकम मच बेटर इन दैट केस. देन once we are done with this particular thing, then we try and find out the solutions for that thing, right? And when you think of finding the solution, right, here we think of two kind of solution. We try and find out short term solution, and then we try and find out long term solution. Because if you have identified there is some problem we have somewhere, and you come up with a plan, let's say implementing that thing may take 5 years, then you can understand अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम अभी है और 5 साल तक आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो और 5 साल तक आप प्लान ही इंप्लीमेंट करते रहोगे, तो प्रॉब्लम और ज्यादा वर्स हो जाएगी, राइट? सो व्हाट वी थिंक इन अ शॉर्ट टर्म, ईदर वी ट्राई एंड गेट rid of that problem, and if we cannot get rid of that particular problem, then we at least try and mitigate the effect of that particular problem in a short run, then जिससे कि जो उससे हमारे लॉसेस हो रहे हैं या जो प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, that can be reduced to a certain extent then. But these kind of things are done only for a shorter period of a time, right? In a longer period of time, what we want, we should completely get rid of that kind of problem so that in future we do not see problem like this. So in case study, once we are done with reading the case, we expect you to identify the problem and obviously see all the information and constant given to us. Using that, we'll try and find out the problem out there. Once you are done with that particular thing, then we try and find out the short-term solution and then long-term solution, right? And let's say if you can find out the solution which can cure that thing in a short term only, then this is the best one, right? Otherwise, you can look for short-term and long-term solution here. Now, when you are saying short-term and long-term solution here, so obviously जैसे उनकी problem तो mitigate करना है, ये तो हमारा एक objective रहता ही है. But if you think rationally, तो जो आप जो सोल्यूशन दोगे ना, दैट हैज टू बी प्रैक्टिकल एंड फीजिबल इन नेचर एज वेल. व्हेन आई एम सेइंग प्रैक्टिकल एंड फीजिबल इन नेचर मींस व्हाट हियर. मान लो अभी कंपनी को कुछ लॉस हो रहा है एक्स वाई जेड रुपी का, और आपने कोई एक उनको प्रॉब्लम का ये सोल्यूशन बताया. नहीं नहीं, अभी ना मैंने स्क्रीन दिखाया नहीं है, स्क्रीन में अभी कुछ था नहीं. केस पे अभी आऊंगा 2 मिनट में. स्क्रीन में जो बेसिक विच आई एम टेलिंग हियर, दिस इज नॉट देयर ऑन स्क्रीन. केस आई विल शेयर विद यू ऑन स्क्रीन देन. तो अभी जैसे मैंने अभी सिर्फ हाँ अभी केवल इतना बोला है, यू विल हैव टू फाइंड आउट द प्रॉब्लम फर्स्ट, दैट वी कॉल एज आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. वंस द आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम इज डन, we'll try and find out the short term and long term solution. If you can clear that thing in short term, this is the best. Otherwise, we'll try and bifurcate into two parts, short term and long term solution here, these two things. And these solution which you will say, they has to be practical and feasible in nature. फीजिबल इन द सेंस मतलब जो आप बोलो प्रैक्टिकली अप्लीकेबल भी होनी चाहिए. ऐसे नहीं कि आप बोलो जो बिल्कुल ही हवा में चला जाए. सेकेंडली, जो चीज अगर आ रही है ना, वो रेशनली भी रेशनली इफेक्टिव होनी चाहिए. जैसे अगर कंपनी का प्रॉफिट काफी कम हो रहा है और आपने कोई ऐसा सोल्यूशन बताया जिससे कंपनी की कॉस्ट तो और बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गई लेकिन प्रॉफिट अभी भी इंप्रूव नहीं हुआ है. सो दोस काइंड ऑफ सोल्यूशन इफ यू कम अप विद इट, नो वन इज गोइंग टू एक्सेप्ट दोस थिंग. तो पहले तो आपको सोचना है व्हाट एवर यू आर सेइंग, इज दैट प्रैक्टिकल वन और नॉट, एंड feasible in that context. Let's say, is that going to help you in reducing that problem, or is going to, let's say, increase your problem out there. Let's say whatever cost you are incurring, right? And if you go with that solution which is further increasing your cost but not increasing your profit, then chances are there people would not accept that thing as a feasible solution, and they'll not go with that one then. तो बेसिक रूल केवल हमारे यही रहेंगे, जो भी सोल्यूशन आप बोलोगे दैट हैज टू बी फीजिबल, प्रैक्टिकल वन. एंड पहले आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम देखते हैं, एंड वंस वी आर डन विद द आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम, then we go with the solution of that particular thing. So whatever I have said so far here, right, just to let's say justify these things, what I'll do, I'll have one minor case with us. तो इस वाले केस में what I expect now here, let's say आप पहले ना थोड़ा सा पढ़ना. Case is not long, hardly 4-5 line we have here. Minor case we have taken. But what I want, let's say once you are done with that particular case, please come up with at least some explanation from your side, right? What you think is the possible way out of that particular thing. So I'm sharing my screen here with you where this case is there, and I'll keep it shared with you, right? Let's say roughly for 2-3 minutes. And after 2-3 minutes, we'll start discussing, and there will expect you come up with whatever comes in your mind, right? कुछ तो बोलना, मतलब hesitate नहीं करना यहाँ पे. जो भी मन में आता है related to that thing, the way we have discussed in that manner, or whatever comes in your mind. And then I'll again come back to this thing and I'll discuss कि जो चीज हमने बोली है वो कितनी ज्यादा अच्छी है, क्या हम इनमें ऐड कर सकते थे, और जब इंफॉर्मेशन कम दिया होता है तो व्हाट फेयर एजम्पशंस कैन बी टेकन, राइट. तो देखो, तो जस्ट सी दिस वन हियर. प्लीज एक बार देखो, इज दिस क्लियरली विजिबल टू ऑल ऑफ अस हियर, माय
Yes, sir.
स्क्रीन? हाँ, so please just
Yes,
go
sir.
through this case here. Hardly 5, 6, 7 line we have. You read this thing, and in 2-3 minutes we'll start discussing. 2-3 minutes you take, jot down your point, and if needed you can take the screenshot of this thing as well. Okay? Okay, let's say if we are done with this particular thing, so can we start now? Let's say, have we all read this particular information which is given here? Or
सर
let's
एक बार सर थोड़ा सा और दिखा दीजिए.
फिर से देख लीजिए ना, 2 मिनट और देख लो, और उसमें भी अगर लगता है ना, यू कैन टेक दी स्क्रीनशॉट ऑल्सो ऑफ दिस थिंग, राइट? देन विल स्टार्ट डिस्कसिंग. Okay, please now all of you, if this screen is needed further, right, please take the screenshot of this thing, right? I'll stop sharing this thing now and we'll discuss now this one. Screenshot photo, whatever you think is sufficient, right? Please take that thing. Now let's come back to this screen here. Now let's say if we are done with this particular thing, the information that is given here, we read that particular information, and general information I hope is clear. Let's say if I read out that information again, then what is given? We have some company, Sundar Cosmetic Limited, right? And now what is they are facing? Their sales is coming down. They are facing losses in terms of the sales here. And what they observe, they are facing a strong competition from a company called Zest, and they have introduced a new sachet packet of, let's say, 5 ml in 1 rupees, and that was a very huge success out here, huge success. And now they are seeing what is needed to be done or not. And here we have Baizu, who is a marketing manager, and that person, when discussed the same thing with the Ronak, who is the R&D manager out there, that person said, I am not in a favor of, let's say, plastic, that is not good. And that person is also not, let's say, very, let's say, sure about the integrity of the plastic packet out here, right? They may also, let's say, rupture sometime and may create some bad name for the company, as this is given here. And now the question comes to now Baizu here. Let's say Baizu is a marketing manager out here, and the person has to recommend something to the managing director of a company. Now, if you are as a Baizu, then what would you recommend, and what would you do? Or what will you do first, and then what will you do recommend? This is our question here, right? So case is minor one, not much information is given, but it's still decent enough. information we have in front of us. तो प्लीज अब थोड़ा एक बार कोई भी आप में से कुछ बोलना चाहोगे दोस्त, anything that comes in our mind if you want to discuss now here, कोई भी कैसा भी अगर मन में कुछ क्वेश्चन आता है या कुछ भी आपके
सर
मन में
बायजूस अपनी सर जो बायजू है वो अपने बॉस को ये सजेस्ट कर सकता है कि लोगों को वो अवेयर करें एडवर्टाइजमेंट के थ्रू या फिर टीवी चैनल्स में जो एड्स आती हैं उसके थ्रू अवेयर करें लोगों को कि ये जो प्लास्टिक सेक्टर्स होते हैं ये अच्छे नहीं होते हैं, मतलब इससे पोल्यूशन वगैरह काफ़ी ज़्यादा होता है। और वो ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं कि अगर 25 और 50 रुपए का आ रहा है, लोगों को महंगा पड़ रहा है वो, तो वो कुछ साथ में गिफ्ट्स वगैरह भी लोगों को दे सकते हैं जिससे लोगों को थोड़ा इंटरेस्ट आएगा मतलब उसे परचेज करने पे। या फिर कोई बड़े बड़े सेलिब्रिटी हैं, अगर वो उनको बोलते हैं कि इसकी एडवर्टाइजमेंट करो तो फिर लोगों को थोड़ा लगेगा कि हाँ कि सलमान खान यूज़ कर रहा है इसे या फिर कोई भी कैटरीना कैफ यूज़ कर रही है तो हम भी यूज़ करें, तो फिर सेल ज़्यादा भी हो सकती है उनकी।
बिल्कुल ठीक से अभी अनुराधा ने बोला। एनीवन एल्स आल्सो वुड लाइक टू से एनीथिंग, एस एटलीस्ट 2-3 गाइस, लेट्स से कम अप फ्रॉम योर साइड, जो भी मन में आता है फिर आगे चलते हैं। किसी के मन में अगर कुछ भी और होता है तो प्लीज बोलो एक बार। Let's say 2-3 point, let's say Anuradha said, let's say they can focus more on advertising, make themselves more visual and aware to people, and can make people janta also aware about the, let's say, side effect and pollution effect of that thing, and can give some freebies and endorse some celebrities also, right? So that, let's say, more and more people start knowing about you and may find some influence of celebrity and start using, and that can increase your sales then. ठीक है, मिलकर देखो दोस्तों। अब अगर हम लोग ना इस वाले में आते हैं, देखो इन्फॉर्मेशन हम सब ने नोट किया है, जैसे मैंने बोला था ना, वी कैन टेक फेयर एनफ assumptions हियर एज वेल। अब जैसे अनुराधा ने बोला ना, दिस इज एक्सीलेंट, पहले तो ना बोलना चाहिए, गलत सही तो बोथ आर इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ। व्हेन वी गो फॉर लेट्स से केस स्टडीज, व्हाट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट, वी शुड मेक सम कंट्रीब्यूशन फर्स्ट, एंड इफ वी आर गेटिंग कंट्रीब्यूशन, दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज गुड। अब देखो जो इन्होंने पॉइंट बोला ना, इन्हीं को मैं एक एक करके थोड़ा देर में लेके आता हूँ। First of all, in this case, what we need to understand, what is the problem here? Sales coming down is not the problem. Problem may be something else, and resultantly, because of that thing, our sales is coming down here. And if not much information is given, then you can think of, let's say, conducting a survey first, right? You'll say, let's say, I'm being a marketing manager here, I would like to go into detail first, that what exact is the problem here. For that particular thing, I might like to conduct some survey that will give me a further deeper insight what exact problem company is facing, right? And when you do a survey, then what may be the outcome out here, you can take a fair enough assumption of them, that an outcome, let's say, you can assume in this manner, the sales is not coming down, let's say, everywhere. There are some pockets where sales is coming down here. Now then when you go further, then you can think, let's say, the pocket where sales is coming down, is that a metro cities or tier 2 cities, or let's say villages, right? If that problem is there in villages there, then you can say there are some people live, let's say, who are much more price sensitive, right? The price sensitivity may make, let's say, your sales may come down here, because what has happened in our case here, if you see these Sundar Cosmetic, right, they are providing this thing in 2 packets, right, 2 bottles, you can say. One is of 100 ml and second is of 250 ml, 100 ml and 250 ml. And the cost, if you see, let's say, if I share this screen again, there you'll see 100 ml and 25 rupees here. So that means even when person is purchasing this thing in bulk, what person is getting? Person is getting 4 ml for rupees 1 here, right? And in this case, when person is purchasing even in more bulk here, person is getting, if you divide this by 50, you get 5 ml for rupee 1, right? But if you see Zest, they are offering this thing is just 5 ml in 1 rupees here, right? So if you conduct survey, you find there is some price sensitive janta, then you'll observe when they are not purchasing in bulk, even then they are getting a greater quantity out here. But here you come, let's say, when you purchase more in number, right, what you expect to get more discount out there, right? And here things are other way around. यहाँ पर अगर देखो तो 5 ml मिल रहा है 1 रुपये में, बट दैट इज व्हेन यू आर परचेसिंग ए 250 ml बॉटल हियर। तो अब जब आप इसका सर्वे करते हो ना, तो जब आप आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम की बात करते हो, तो डू नॉट राइट अवे जंप ऑन दैट पार्टिकुलर थिंग, ट्राई एंड गो डीपर आउट देयर, डू सम ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग हियर। So here you can, let's say, come in this manner. You'll conduct a survey first. You'll try and see what is the problem, where exactly we are facing this problem. Is this across or pan country problem we are facing there, or there are some pockets we are facing this problem, right? And if we are facing this problem in some pocket, then what kind of janta we have here? Let's say, are they price sensitive janta or something else? And if you reach on this particular conclusion, let's say after doing this survey, that we are getting drop in sales, which is major drop in sales, but happening only in those pockets where some price sensitive janta is there. So what is actually happening? Initially, they did not have an option like this, right? Where they could have purchased more in less amount. But now when they have this amount, so what they did, they might have shifted here, they might have shifted, right? And if they have shifted because of this particular thing, then what we have to do in a near future, if you do not want that your sales to go down further, you have to provide something in near future so that you can curb this losses, right? Or mitigate these losses here. अब इनमें अगर आप बिल्कुल एक दिन या दो दिन के अंदर बोलोगे तो एकदम तो आपके सैसे नहीं आ जाएंगे. तो in a short run, if you want to make your offer productive, right, or let's say more lucrative, then you can offer some discount at least in those pockets where your sale is not going that good. If you go and let's say do this particular thing, जहां पे आपने पता किया है कि प्राइस सेंसिटिव जनता है, तो उस केस में जो अभी आपके थे, let's say अब वहां पे buy one get one, buy two get one, buy three get one, these kind of things you can bring. या जैसे अभी अनुराधा ने बोला था ना, you can give some sort of freebies out there, right? And you can make your product a bit look more lucrative with respect to the product offered by Zaz, जो कि रीठा था यहाँ पे. तो इसमें जैसे अगर हम लोगों ने बोला प्राइस सेंसिटिविटी मे बी वन ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम दैट कंपनी मे बी फेसिंग हियर, तो अगर अब आपने बोला तो इस पे अब आप डिस्कस करना स्टार्ट कर सकते हो, राइट? और इसको फिर ओवरकम कैसे करना है, शॉर्ट रन में क्या करना है, लॉन्ग रन में क्या करना है. और यहाँ पे देखो एक प्रॉब्लम ये भी, जब प्राइस सेंसिटिविटी के आगे जाओगे, then there is some opinion of R&D manager Ronak. Ronak said what? कि he is not in a favor of plastic material, right? अब आप देखोगे रौनक इज एन आरडी मैनेजर, दैट इज गुड, लेकिन आप भी तो मार्केटिंग मैनेजर हो ना. यू कैन नॉट टेक ईच एंड एवरी वर्ड ऑफ रौनक एज सच देयर, राइट? अगर आप सारी बातें उसकी मानते हो, अपना कुछ भी नहीं सोचते हो, तो कंपनी आपको अलग से पैसे क्यों दे रही है, उसने क्यों आपको हायर किया हुआ है? तो यू कैन नॉट टेक द वर्डिंग एज सच एज लेट्स से spoken by Ronak. You have to do some calculation from your side as well. Now you see, when Zaz is offering that thing in sachet and they are fairly successful, right? That means जिस तरह की प्रॉब्लम की बात, लीकेजेस और कंप्लेंट की बात जो रीटा बोल रहा है, जो जैज कम जो अपना सुंदर कॉस्मेटिक बोल रहा है, वो जैज ने यहाँ पे उतनी फेस नहीं की होगी. और अगर इतनी फेस की होती तो इनका इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग कंपटीशन नहीं मिला होता. तो अब ये तो कह सकते हो, let's say it's not necessary that these are creating these kind of problem as Ronak might be thinking here, right? Because अगर रौनक का ओपिनियन उतना करेक्ट होता, the same thing would have been applied to Rita as well. But Rita is a fairly successful out here, so may not be that kind of problem. And even if there are some sort of leakages we have, so that is once let's say 1 in million or let's say 100 in million. So those kind of things are not creating that kind of problem here. So in a short run, as an alternative, you may look for this thing also, because this may not increase your cost, let's say widely here, but that will increase your reach, right? That will further increase your sales out there. लेकिन इसके लिए जैसे आप जो कहते हो ना, ये रिसर्च आपको किसको करना पड़ेगा, बाइजू को करना पड़ेगा. तो दिस इज वन पॉसिबल थिंग वी सेड, लेट्स से इट कैन बी प्राइस सेंसिटिव जनता, एंड वेयर एवर वी हैव प्राइस सेंसिटिव जनता, देयर वी आर facing or getting these kind of sales, decrease in sales here. Another person can say, let's say unavailability of, let's say that particular thing in that sector. Unavailability also, let's say there are some sectors we have in our economy. Let's say अगर आप देखोगे ना, अगर हम स्टूडेंट्स की बात करते हैं, स्टूडेंट्स की, राइट, या ट्रेवलर्स की बात करते हैं, जैसे आपकी देखो अगर आप कभी घूमने जाते हो, ट्रेवलर कह लो, या टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री की बात करते हैं स्पेसिफिकली, सैलून की बात करते हैं, कुछ एक पार्टिकुलर सोसाइटी होटल्स हैं. जैसे अगर आप अभी जाते हो, लेट्स से अगर आप घूमने जा रहे हो 4 या 5 दिन के लिए, तो यू वुड नॉट कैरी अ बॉटल ऑफ लेट्स से शैम्पू विद यू, रादर यू विल टेक जस्ट सम सैशे विद यू, राइट? यू विल यूज देम एंड यू विल थ्रो देम, राइट? ऐसे अगर आप होटल में भी रुकते हो, so they do not serve you in bottles, right? Out there they serve you in sachets only. So there is a demand of let's say sachets also, or you can say of small bottles out there. And till now, before this particular offering of let's say as Rita, they did not have any options out there, right? And when they got some option, so even though your quality may be good, right? Even though quality may be good, but now they are getting an option in that particular range, so they might have shifted there. So this also tells us, let's say, if we are not present in certain section, right, of a society, and if there is a demand, so we have to provide that thing in that segment as well, right? Because let's say if you talk about some people who are well-read person, or well, let's say well, or you can say in a well section of a society here, or our strata of a society, so they might not go for a sachet out there, they look for a long term. But there are some section of a society, they earn on a daily basis, right? They do not look for let's say purchasing something for 20 days or 35 days, rather they go for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, this kind of things only, right? Because their resources force them to purchase in this manner only. Specifically if you talk about India, 60-70% population lives in villages, right? And they do not go for those kind of bottles, they go for sachets only. Specifically in village also we have a lower rung of a society out here. तो जब आप इसको थोड़ा डिटेल में देखोगे, तो आप प्राइस सेंसिटिविटी की बात कर सकते थे ना. दिस इज वन थिंग वी माइट हैव कुड हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट हियर. एंड देन वी विल टॉक अबाउट लेट्स से हाउ वी कैन मेक आवर प्रोडक्ट बेटर. Secondly, you can talk about let's say unavailability of product in a certain segment of a society. Till now they did not have any option, that's why they were purchasing from us, but now they got something, so that's why they shifted there. That does not mean our product is not good, but still they got shifted there because they are getting something of their choice. Then thirdly, आप ये भी कह सकते थे chances are there क्वालिटी में भी कुछ डिफरेंस रहा था, और अगर क्वालिटी में कुछ डिफरेंस होगा तो ये बिगर प्रॉब्लम होता. लेकिन ये जो चीजें हम बोल रहे हैं ना, ये आपको कैसे पता लगेंगी, आपको ना मार्केट रिसर्च करना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे. तो जब आप एज ए मार्केटिंग मैनेजर सोचते हो, राइट, यू हैव टू थिंक ऑन अ ब्रॉडर लेवल हियर. Before jumping on any conclusion, you'll have to see what may be the possible problem out here. Till the time we are not done with the identification of problem, and if we go and start giving our solutions, that solution may not work, right? Chances are there, let's say, your product quality may be extremely good, but you are not able to advertise that thing in so well manner, right? Your product is environment friendly, right, and that is good in quality as well. But the another product that recently appeared, that may not be that much good in quality, but that was very good in, let's say, advertising, right? They can make themselves much more, let's say, public or visible with respect to other guys. तो इसमें भी क्या प्रॉब्लम आएगा, आपका क्वालिटी अच्छा होने के बाद भी प्रॉब्लम आ सकता था. तो इस केस में फिर आपको ना इस चीज पे जाना पड़ेगा कि आपका एडवर्टाइजिंग किस लेवल पे आप कर रहे हो, स्मॉल लेवल पे कर रहे हो, बिग लेवल पे कर रहे हो. और जैसे अभी रौनक ने ये बोला यहाँ पे कि अगर आप प्लास्टिक सैसे लाओगे, यू हैव टू इन्वेस्ट अ लॉट ऑन एडवर्टाइजिंग, राइट. ये जो एजम्पशन इन्होंने बोला या दिया है, ये वैसे भी उतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं रह जाएगा, बिकॉज यू आर ऑलरेडी अ कंपनी, राइट. एंड इफ यू ऑलरेडी हैव प्रोडक्ट इन मार्केट, दैट मींस यू आर ऑलरेडी डूइंग सम एडवर्टाइजिंग देन, right? If you're already doing some advertising, and if you bring some another product in picture, right, that will not make our, let's say, advertising cost go skyrocketing kind of things, right? This will just add something there. Thirdly, आप ऐसा भी डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, जैसे यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं दिया, तो we do not know how old this company is, right, and what kind of financial power or financial muscle this company have, right? We may assume here, let's say, this company may be a fairly new company, right? If this is a fairly new company, then you cannot think of, let's say fulfilling the demand of each and every strata of society simultaneously in one go. So you might have thought of picking some pockets first, and let's say fulfilling the demand of them, and once you become slightly bigger and greater company, then you can think of reaching to that particular segment of the society. Then तो इस तरह के जो assumptions होते हैं which are not going against the information given in data, तो आप उनको ले सकते हो. यहाँ पे ऐसा भी मान सकते थे, जैसे रीठा के आने के बाद तो हमारा सेल्स कम हुआ है, रीठा के आने के बाद, राइट. हम यहाँ पे ये भी नहीं दिया, बिफोर रीठा वी हैड सम अदर कंपनी प्रोवाइडिंग सेम काइंड ऑफ शैम्पू इन दीस काइंड ऑफ सैसे और नॉट, राइट. अभी assumption लेते हैं, दो इट इज क्लियरली गिवन विद द, लेट्स से, राइट, रीठा they have acquired some markets here, but we are not aware here whether we had some these kind of company before or not. Let's say if we had some company like this before, and still we were able to maintain our share, but with the arrival of this Rita, we lost our share, then there may be problem with some quality also, the quality in the quality of the product that we are offering. तो अब देखो इस चीज में ना मैंने अभी 3-4 जैसे जो व्यूज आपको बताए हैं, what actually I'm saying or let's say trying to discuss here, in these kind of thing, try and bring as many different things you can bring, but make sure the assumption that you are taking should not go against the basic information giving in our case here. और जितनी ज्यादा आप ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग करके डीपर डिटेल में जाओगे, जितना अच्छा सोल्यूशन लेके आओगे ना, यू विल बी गेटिंग मोर मार्क्स फॉर दैट पार्टिकुलर थिंग देन, राइट? जैसे अभी किसी ने बोला नहीं था, अगर कुछ लोग ऐसे भी बोल सकते थे, अगर हमें यही है कि शॉर्ट टर्म में लेके आना ही है, शॉर्ट टर्म में अगर हमें लेके आना है, तो इसमें हम ये भी बोल सकते थे कि हम अपनी छोटी छोटी बोतल में भी लाने का प्लान कर सकते थे। देन यू हैव टू डील सी दिस थिंग आल्सो कि कितना वो प्राइस इफेक्टिव होगी। कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि हम छोटी बोतल्स में लेके आते हैं, उसकी वजह से हमारी कॉस्ट तो सिग्निफिकेंटली बढ़ जाए लेकिन हमारी सेल्स ना बढ़े, तो दैट तभी तो सेल्स भी कम हो रही थी, अब जो प्रॉफिट कम था वो फर्दर और कम हो जाए। तो इस तरह के जितने डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट आप लाओगे, जितने डिस्कस करोगे, यू विल बी गेटिंग मार्क्स फॉर दोस। यहाँ तक जो मैंने बोला, इफ एनीवन हैज एनी क्वेरी वांट टू आस्क, लेट्स प्लीज आस्क दैट थिंग, राइट? अगर किसी के मन में कोई भी क्वेरी है तो किसी के मन में कोई भी क्वेरी नहीं है। Done. तो देखो आज का जैसे जो मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव था, मेरे हिसाब से जो मैंने बताया, अगर आपको इस अगर क्लियर है, अगर वहां तक कुछ बोलना चाहो तो बोलना। You cannot remain stick to just one particular thing. You cannot say this is the exact identification of problem that you have identified here, because information given is limited there. If information given is limited, that means you cannot pinpointly say this is the problem, right? You can think from the different perspective, may come with a different problem here, that people may come one by one after some time, and if you come with some problem, then try and come up with the solution of that thing as well. So case study जो आपका actually GD से different होता है, वो यहाँ पर आता है, because in GD knowledge becomes supreme, right? Knowledge is king out there, but in our this case knowledge becomes secondary, because here in the beginning each and every person is on a very same platform, right? Then how you interpret from there, and then how you logically moving here, so process becomes much more important. In what manner, by using what process you reach to what problem, and then how you have gone about further. तो अब अगर किसी के मन में कुछ क्वेरी है, कैसा भी है, अगर कुछ बोलना चाहते हो तो प्लीज बोलो, अदरवाइज व्हाट एवर आई वाज सपोज्ड टू डिस्कस आई एम डन। इफ एनी क्वेरी, एनीथिंग यू वांट टू आस्क, प्लीज आस्क देम।
सर,
हाँ प्लीज बोलो।
तो जैसे कि जब हम कॉलेज में जाते हैं, जब हमारा ये केस स्टडी वाली प्रॉब्लम हमें दी जाती हैं, तो सर वो जो पार्टनर्स होते हैं वो अपने आप ही दे देते हैं ना कॉलेज वाले हमें, कोई भी ऐसी
हाँ
रैंडम?
हाँ, नहीं, वो आपको रैंडमली मिलती है। जैसे अगर आप कॉलेज के लिए जाओगे ना, तो वो काफी लोगों को एक साथ बुलाते हैं। सो 8 to 10 बंदे आएंगे, तो आपके ग्रुप में भी 8 to 10 होंगे, दूसरे ग्रुप में भी 8 to 10 होंगे, और जो बंदे होंगे वो रैंडमली आते हैं।
सर मुझे इसमें ये पूछना था, जैसे कि उन्होंने हमें कोई केस स्टडी दी, अब हम उसमें जो हमारे पार्टनर्स हैं वो और हम मिलके कुछ सॉल्यूशन ढूंढ रहे हैं उसका, लेकिन कुछ ऐसा हो रहा है कि जो मैं सॉल्यूशन ढूंढ रही हूँ वो मेरा पार्टनर को अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, और जो मेरे पार्टनर को अच्छा लग रहा है वो मुझे नहीं अच्छा लग रहा, तो हम एक ही सॉल्यूशन तक पहुंच नहीं पा रहे हैं।
नहीं, तो ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है you should reach to one conclusion. You can reach to a multiple conclusion as well. This is perfectly acceptable. But whatever you are saying and discussing, that should be the rational one. Means ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए हम अपने ईगो पे ले लें इसलिए दूसरे की बात एक्सेप्ट ना करें। अगर उसकी बात रैशनल है तो उसकी बात एक्सेप्ट कर लो, लेकिन अपनी बात अगर आपको ज्यादा अच्छी लग रही है तो आप उसको भी रखो। जैसे मैंने बताया ना, क्योंकि अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम होता है तो इसमें कहते हैं ना, जैसे certain problem may have different perspective, right? Two people may see same thing but they come up with a different conclusion and analysis, right? So if you are coming with a different analysis or conclusion, as long as you are rational with your each approach and you are able to justify what you are saying, everything is considered good. So multiple conclusion is also acceptable, right? इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
Okay, anyone else? Let's say any query if we have. देखो अगर अभी हमारा क्वेरी वगैरह नहीं होगा, तो ये जो केस होता है ना, जैसे अभी तो जैसे आप लोगों ने किसी ने ज्यादा बोला नहीं, जैसे हम लोगों ने पहली बार किया ना, इस तरह के कुछ केस लेके थोड़ा डिस्कस करो अपने आपस में। या फिर अगर जैसे भी अगर ऑफलाइन होता तो फिर मैं थोड़ा आपको प्रोप ज्यादा करता। यहाँ पे तो जैसे केवल अनुराधा के अलावा नो वन सेड एनीथिंग हियर। कोशिश क्या करो, जब भी कुछ आता है ना, पहले कुछ बोलो। सही और गलत बोथ आर इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ, क्योंकि जब आप बोलना स्टार्ट करते हो ना, फिर हमारा प्रोसेस स्टार्ट होता है। एक बार अगर थोड़ा कम अच्छा पॉइंट होगा, और सबसे अच्छी बात क्या होती है जीडी में और केस स्टडी में, कुछ भी चीज गलत नहीं होती है, अच्छी और ज्यादा अच्छी होती हैं। अच्छी, जस्ट गिव मी सम टाइम हियर।
सर मुझे एक चीज पूछनी थी इसमें,
हाँ
सर जो
प्लीज।
इससे पहले वाली जो प्रॉब्लम थी,
हम्म।
उसमें सर जो सुंदर कॉस्मेटिक वाली कंपनी थी, वो सर 250 ml 50 रुपए में दे रही थी।
हाँ
तो सर अगर वो 250 ml 50 रुपए में दे रही है, तो फिर सर 1 ml जो है उनका, सॉरी, 1 रुपए में
₹1
वो
5
पाँच
ml
एम
आ
एल
रहा
आए।
है। हाँ हाँ
हाँ,
ठीक है।
तो सर 1 ml, सॉरी, 1 रुपए में 5 ml ये भी दे रहे हैं।
हाँ।
तो 1 ml, 1 रुपए में 5 ml सर जाज रीठा वाले भी दे रहे हैं, जाज
हम्म।
रीठा वाले।
हम्म।
तो सर दोनों के प्राइस ऑलमोस्ट सेम है।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, प्राइस सेम नहीं बेटा, ऐसे देखो आप। अभी मान लो अगर आप ना कोई अगर एक चॉकलेट खरीदने जाते हो, वो एक चॉकलेट ₹10 की मिलती है, वो कहते हैं ना, और एक चॉकलेट है वो ₹500 में 50 देते हैं, लेकिन कहते हैं पैकेट तभी देंगे जब पूरे के पूरे 50 एक साथ खरीदोगे। तो अगर मैं ₹500 में 50 चॉकलेट लेता हूँ तो भी वो ₹10 की एक चॉकलेट पड़ी, और एक इंडिविजुअली चॉकलेट भी ₹10 की आ रही तो वो भी पड़ी। लेकिन आपको लग रहा है 50 चॉकलेट लेने का एक साथ बहुत लोगों के पास फाइनेंशियल पावर होगा? मतलब मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि नहीं होगा, लेकिन अगर आप केवल 10-10 करके दोगे तो जो बंदा जिसकी बहुत कम इनकम है ना, वो भी उसको खरीद सकता है। मान लो मेरी पॉकेट में केवल आज ₹50 ही होते हैं, स्टिल आई कुड हैव थॉट ऑफ परचेसिंग दैट चॉकलेट विच कॉस्ट मी ₹10। लेकिन जब ये 500 का एक साथ मुझे खरीदना पड़ेगा, चाहे भले ही उसमें 50 मिल रहे हो, तो वो मैं अफोर्ड नहीं कर पाऊंगा एक साथ। तो बहुत सारी जनता उससे बाहर चली जाएगी। जैसे मान लो अगर मैं गांव में लेबर बंदा हूं ना, लेट्स से आई वर्क ऑन एवरी डे एंड देन आई अर्न एंड देन आई गो। तो उस केस में लेट्स से माय डेली अर्निंग इज ₹300 एंड समवन सेज यू परचेज अ शैम्पू ऑफ ₹250 एंड दैट वुड लास्ट 1 मंथ देन। तो मेरा एक दिन का पूरा पैसा वहां चला जाएगा। लेकिन अगर भाई मुझे ₹5 मिल रहा है, तो उस पैसे में जो मुझे एक दिन में मिलेगा, ₹5 देने के बाद ही मेरे पास बहुत काम करने की चीजें होंगी। व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, कि जब आप बल्क में खरीदते हो, अगर आपको एक चॉकलेट ₹10 की मिल रही है और अगर आप 50 चॉकलेट साथ में खरीदो, तो आपको ऐसे नहीं लगता आपको और डिस्काउंट मिलना चाहिए?
यस
और
सर।
यहाँ पे वो डिस्काउंट भी नहीं था, और
Yes,
सेकेंडली,
sir.
हाँ, एक तो डिस्काउंट भी आना चाहिए यहाँ पे, और सेकेंडली कुछ ऐसे सेक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी वो डिस्काउंट तो बाद में देखेंगे, पहले उनकी रीच होनी चाहिए वहां तक। तो जैसे अगर आप कभी भी देखते हो ना, जैसे अगर आप अभी देखोगे अगर मर्सिडीज का ऐड आएगा, तो मर्सिडीज का ऐड वो गांव में नहीं ले जाके दिखाते हैं कभी भी, वो मेट्रोस वगैरह में या कुछ प्रीमियम चैनलों पे ही रखेंगे उन चीजों को। रीजन क्या है कि दे अंडरस्टैंड एंड दे नो व्हाट इज देयर मार्केट देन, राइट? तो ऐसे ही जो आपका होता है, आपको फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज योर मार्केट फ्रॉम वेयर यू आर गेटिंग डिमांड, एंड देन यू हैव टू फिलफिल देयर डिमांड अकॉर्डिंगली देन। तो दोनों अगर देखोगे तो सेम चीज में नहीं रहते हैं, थोड़ा सा अलग आ जाएगा यहाँ पे। जैसे अगर रियल लाइफ में देखना चाहो ना, तो मैं आपको बताता हूँ, जैसे हम कभी कपड़े खरीदने जाते हैं, आपने देखा होगा कभी लिखते हैं एक कपड़ा ले लो कुछ पैसे का पड़ेगा, फिर बोलते हैं बाय 3 गेट 1 फ्री। बाय 3 गेट 1 फ्री में 25% का डिस्काउंट होता है मैथमेटिकली, और एक कपड़े पे देखोगे 25% का। तो एक कपड़े पे अगर 25% डिस्काउंट मिला है, दैट इज अ बेटर डील देन परचेसिंग 4 क्लोथ्स। क्योंकि हो सकता है यू मे नॉट बी नीडिंग 4, बट बिकॉज ऑफ डिस्काउंट लेस सम पर्सन मे बी परचेसिंग। लेकिन जिसको एक ही चाहिए वो तो 3 खरीद ही नहीं पाएगा ना, 3 या 4 फिर। इसके अलावा देखो, इससे रिलेटेड या कोई जनरल क्वेरी किसी के मन में तो प्लीज बोलो अभी, अदरवाइज विल कीप इट टिल हियर ओनली, राइट? अगर यहाँ तक अगर किसी को कोई भी अगर क्वेरी नहीं है, तो प्रोसेस फॉलो करना जैसा हम लोगों ने बोला है। आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम होना चाहिए, उसमें मल्टीपल आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम लाओगे, वी डू नॉट हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम, and then go with short term and long term solutions. Short term, try and mitigate the problem that you are facing. In long term, try and get rid of that particular problem. Multiple answers if you are getting, or multiple conclusions you are getting, that is perfectly acceptable, no problem, as long the discussion you have done, that is the rational one, and you are able to justify your point with valid point, everything is considered good. अगर अब
Thank you so much, sir, for your overwhelming session. Now, I request Hema ma'am, teacher coordinator for the event, and faculty from Department of Commerce to please extend a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Anil Baduria ji,
good
and
afternoon.
my colleagues and my dear students. On behalf of the Commerce Department, I would like to thank Mr. Anil Baduria ji from Times Education, because your inputs on how to crack case study problem solving and decision making are very valuable, and I hope that our students get benefited for today's session. I would also like to thank from the bottom of my heart our principal ma'am, Professor Mamta Sharma, because without her support, organization of such session can't be possible. I would also like to thank TIC of Commerce Department, Dr. Rajiv Kaur, because in such a short time, you have made the best possible arrangement for this session, and thank you so much. I would also like to thank my colleagues present today and our students, because without them, arrangement of such session has no meaning. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.